Hi folks, I've got something new to show you today from a manufacturer, please excuse my ignorance, I've not heard of before. Securitylng, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Securitylng, I'm not sure. Model EF05. These lights retail at just a tad under £20, and you don't get a lot for £20, do you, nowadays? So I was a little bit sceptical. I shouldn't have been, because I really do like this light. I've used it a lot, and it's going to be a keeper. And let me explain why. It's a single 18650. It doesn't come with a battery, so there's a little bit of a cost saver there. But it's not battery fussy. I've used this with flat tops, protected, unprotected, and it's taken them all in its stride, no problem. In terms of its size and dimensions, it's about what you'd expect for a single 18650 light. The build quality is there. We'll have a look at that in the manual in a moment. The tail clip, certainly sturdy enough there. You can see that, can't you, on my finger? That's always a good test, isn't it? You know, not these horrible ones and they just bend out and break off. Awful. Operation wise, we've got a few choices. But as it comes, you've got a one click on, the next click takes you up a level, click takes us back off. So, I don't know, I'll call that low, and then high, and then back off. Or, I can just hold the power button, and it will cycle through the various modes. We've got strobe, and other functions chucked in there as well. The one I've been using most is that one, to be honest, with just the low and the high. And you'll notice there a battery indicator as well, to give me an idea of how much juice I've got left. USB-C charging, that's nice. You don't normally get that on your low-cost lights, do you? And I'm saving the best bit for the end. It's a zoomie. Oh my god, a zoomie. And it's a really good zoomie. And I will show you why. I won't waffle on about it now. I will show you why I think that it's a really good zoomie shortly. Let's have a quick look at the manual, the model, the dimension. Aviation, aluminium, black, yes. Modes, SST 20, 10 watt. So it was 223 luminol, 887 on the what I described as being low and high. USB-C rechargeable. I lingered a little bit on this part here, where you can change the mode of operation. So there's several different options you've got there, which you know, you can pause and have a look at that. I was happy with it how it is, but it's nice if you want to have a tinker around, you can do that. Charging methods. Now, it's nice to see this protection on the charging. I did email the manufacturer and ask whether it had over discharge protection as well, and they confirmed that it did, and I tested that. I will show you that as well. So we've got the overcharge and over discharge protection, as well as a managed charging. You can see here it's describing how it isn't going to throw in, you know, the maximum charge on a depleted battery. Your power indication there, which we briefly had a look at, that's going to give us a clue how much juice we've got left in the battery, and a couple of tips to use. So there's not a fantastic amount to be going into with the manual, unless you want to spend some time messing about with those charging methods. On the Amazon web page, I just printed this off because it doesn't actually mention this in the manual, is that ATR will step in at 60. I've tested that. I couldn't get it to go anywhere near 60. Perhaps it's because it's freezing cold in the UK at the moment, but I had no problems with it stepping down. So let's move on. and have a look at. Okay, let's kill two birds with one stone. So I'm going to check the high run time. It mentions in the manual about the ATR kicking in at 60 and lowering the power. So we'll have a look at that, and then I'll leave the light running with an unprotected cell in it and check the over discharge built-in protection. So up to high, what are we reading on our lux meter? 74. Okay, temperature wise, oh, let me start that. Temperature wise 18. Just keep it on initially just to see how quickly it's rising. Not phenomenally quickly, is he? Let's leave that going and see what happens. As we can see, we're just over a minute in now, and we're starting to back off slowly, so there isn't a sudden drop on this. Started off at 70 odd, didn't we? We've settled down now to 59. Temperature wise 24. It's not feeling warm at all. So there's a little bit of, it's settling the right word, from that initial 70 down to 60. I didn't notice it, to be honest, and the lux meter did though. But I don't think you'd actually see that, and I suspect that's just a little bit of a residual drop that isn't heat related at the beginning. Let's leave it going. 28. We're 7 minutes in. So with that initial slight dip in power, didn't we, and then holding strong now at, you can see there's no drop on the lux meter. It's not getting particularly hot. And this is what I found, I mean, depending on where you're using it, but I don't think it's ever going to get anywhere up close to 60, at least not where I'm using it in the UK. I mean, what's the room temperature here at the moment? 17. So I guess if you're using it in the Sahara Desert, that might be different, but this kind of shows what I found, in that it's holding its output very, very well indeed. So I've left the light running until I got all the warnings and it decided to shut itself off. Let's have a look whether it shut itself off before or after the battery was knackered, i.e. did the over discharge protection kick in? Let's have a look. Yes, it did. So just over 3 volts left in it. So I don't know, 3.1 is it? Something like that, 3 volts. So yeah, the over discharge protection hasn't let the battery go below 3 volts, which is really nice. One of the main considerations when you're talking about zoomie lights is, you know, like this type of thing here. You know, we've seen them, haven't we, online, you know, get your military grade flashlight, you know, before they're made illegal and da 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 da, and they're absolutely horrible. The beam profile is awful. I've only found one zoomie that did a better job, was the Phoenix, but it wasn't perfect, and it's pretty expensive. So I want to look at this little chappy now. What kind of job has this done? And again, looking at its price, £20, one's not going to expect much, are they? So let me show you the beams on the wall behind me and we can have a look. Okay, so what I've done here, this is a white wall, you wouldn't believe it, would you? I've turned the camera's sensitivity way down, so we can actually pick out and look at the beam profile, and this is your standard type zoomie. I can't do much about that, that's a little bit of reflection coming off the wall. So your standard zoomie, you know, you end up with that kind of horrible spot thing in the centre dome, and there's no kind of peripheral spill around it at all, you know. Awful things. Jumping over to the Phoenix, which I said was one of the better ones, you still get, well, you don't get that little horrible square thing, which is the, you know, the main problem. But well, I suppose what the difficulty of these manufacturers have when you're trying to move through its zoom mode, when you see the donut thing there in the middle, and it kind of gets a little bit worse. Even worse now, we've got to go through it, and then it comes back a bit the other way. It's still not focusing brilliantly, is it? Let's swap over. See there now, that's pretty good, isn't it? Again, just ignore that slight reflection coming back. As you can see, that's not, in fact, it's a little bit better if I put it off to one side. You can see the reflection, can't you, coming back off the wall? Yeah, that's a bit better, isn't it, to one side? So we can see that when I go through our zoom, the beam profile is really, really nice. And you just go through it a little bit then towards the end, going through its full range. Got no horrible parts jumping out at us, have we? Anywhere really during that kind of moving all the way backwards and forwards. So we've got a nice even beam, or perhaps as even as we could get it or expect it, all the way through its focus range, which I was absolutely amazed with, to be frank and honest with you. So, oh, a zoomie that I actually like, the beam profile all the way through its full focusable range. That's remarkably good. Hi folks, so we're out with the EF, and I'm starting on its high mode. Low, high. A pretty close range. Low. That's what was it, 220 something lumens, something like that. Which is very respectable, as you can see. It's the lens making the most of that available light, and then you, big pardon, there we go, our high mode. Let's just stop there a second. It's where I need 3 hands, which I haven't got. As I go through that zoom function, you can see there that beam profile is more or less perfect, isn't it? Throughout its entire range. That is what I really, really do like about it. In fact, have I got somewhere buried away? Oh yes, I have. I've got one of my tongue-in-cheek super duper military grade flashlights. So that's kind of like your normal zoomie, isn't it? Bloody awful. One of them, look. You know, they're not too bad there, I don't suppose. But that's just miserable, you know, in comparison with the EF. Much, much better, isn't it, that one? Much better. Much nicer coloured light as well, while we're at it. Yeah, that's the EF. Oh, what a horrible zoomie. Oh man, look at that, that's awful. So a zoomie that hopefully, well, I like it, hopefully You folks will like it too. Let's just move our torch around now and let me put a picture in of where I am. We can see now that with our most floody mode, if you like, I can now focus in and start adding some reasonable distance on there. And again, you know, the beam profile is really nice. But of course you lose the distance. But this should be the perfect zoomie, if that is what you're looking for. Hence why I went and brought another one. Whenever I get a light that I like, I tend to go and lose them. Or had a few stolen actually the other week. Thieving buggers. So yeah, I've got two of these. It's a keeper for me, and this is why. Fantastic beam profile. Let's go and have another look in a slightly different spot. I think you've probably already got a pretty good idea, as it is. I don't know what's upset those ducks, probably me shining these lights around. Let's move on and we'll have a look in a different place. So a little bit further on the high mode, lowest 200 and something odd lumens, wasn't it? And then high. I didn't show you, did I, when I was just at that previous place? Let me do the ramping. So you can pick whatever you want out of those if you wish, if you want more than just what I keep on describing as the high and the low, plus your blinkies if you want those. But I've been happy with those. I'm going to stick with those, and I'm going to carry on calling them high and low and back up to high again. Let's see how we do with a bit of distance. And this is where your zoomie starts to come in, doesn't it? It's not bad at all, is it? Down the side of this lake. And I just have to keep on reminding myself now that this is a £20 light with performance like this, with the lovely, keep on going on about it, don't I, beam profile. Note a little bit there as well as we go. See if we can see it a little bit better here. Kind of goes tight and then just opens up just a slight touch. Really nice range on there. Range, not distance, range as in focusing. A £20 light, folks, with this kind of performance and spec. I wouldn't have believed it, to be honest with you. I wouldn't have believed that me being a bit of a snob over my lights would would recommend something in the £20 price bracket. Right, let's catch you soon. Thanks very much, folks.